DesJarlais joins us on the program. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hey, good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. Long time no talk. You everything going well in the 4th District?
The 4th District is great. Washington, not so much.
Well, it is the epicenter of the universe, and if you don't believe me, ask anyone in the bureaucracy or the deep state, and they'll tell you such. I believe it's part of the reason that they freak out so much over a shutdown. I understand a shutdown can have some negative impact on citizens in the state of Tennessee. Largely, those folks are always made whole at the end of a shutdown. Tell me where you are in the specter of a shutdown and if you believe that it is almost a fait accompli at this point, Scott.
I believe if the Republican Party can pass a continuing resolution, which I've never voted for in 13 years, that attaches significant border security, then that's a winning message. And if we shut down for a month and we hammer home the fact that we cannot continue with the border as it is, then I think it's a winning message and puts a lot of pressure on the Senate and the House Democrats to do something about this invasion that's taking place.
So the idea there is you keep the different spending packages separate, the 12 spending packages separate. Is that right?
Well, we can't get all 12 done before the end of the month. We're going up tomorrow. We're going to start with 4 appropriations bills. We tried to pass the defense bill last week, but there's a handful of people that brought down the rules, so we weren't able to bring that to the floor. There's a new strategy to try to pass 4 of the 12 this week. That still doesn't get it done, so we would have to have a continuing resolution. Problem in the House is there's about 7 folks, or maybe 9, that will not vote for any CR, even if it attaches border security. So we're kind of stuck in this circular firing squad right now. Again, I get people who don't want to vote for a CR. I haven't voted for one. I will this time if we can focus on the border because I think it's that important. But my fear is that we don't even have the votes as a... What's likely to happen is the Senate, and you've seen Chuck Schumer's already sending a package over to the House that he thinks would pass if Kevin McCarthy puts it on the floor with some Republicans and Democrats, and that would be a clean CR and it would keep the government open. I see it as a lost opportunity that we should have done a week or so ago to get our messaging out because we're 1/3 of the process. We only have the House. We don't have the Senate. We don't have the White House. So they're going to tell us to go pound sand. But we would at least be able to tell the American people, stations like yours and other outlets who are honest will talk about how serious this 7 million people, including terrorists and fentanyl, are coming into our country and how that needs to be stopped. But I'm not sure the train hasn't already left the station.
I know that I'm asking the wrong person because I know you're not responsible for this, Congressman, but you are one of 435. And it begs the question, how did we get here, recognizing that September 30th, the date on the calendar never changes? And if it's a timing issue, which is what leadership seems to be arguing, McCarthy and others are saying, look, we don't have the time to pass the appropriations separately. Well, then it leaves folks like me and Tennesseans to scratch our heads and say, wait a minute, you're in charge of the calendar. Did you not see this coming in July?
Yeah, I mean, if you want the true inside baseball, this has stymied me ever since I've been in Congress because you said this date doesn't change. It's there in perpetuity, and we've never had it done. Every year we face the government shutdown, and people are probably just immune to it. But, I've been involved in 2 shutdowns, 2013 and 2018. And both times it seems like we came out on the short end because we have about 10% of the messaging. The state-run media, CNN and ABC and NBC, all attack Republicans for just what you said. It hurts people. They'll say that people won't get their Social Security, military won't get paid, Head Start won't happen, and it's Republicans' fault. But what happens in a slim majority like we have right now, we only have a 4 or 5 vote margin. So when we bring forth an appropriation bill, just like the defense bill, which is the easiest one to pass, DOD always passes, there's some people that don't like Ukraine funding, and that's fine. And there's some people that had other problems with it. But the point is, we couldn't even get that bill to the floor for a vote because enough people were voting to take down the rule, which is a procedural vote, to get it to the floor where we debate it and vote on it. So when you can't even pass the easiest appropriation bill, the DOD, then the problem lies within the conference. It's not necessarily the speaker's fault or leadership's fault. If you can't unite as a Republican conference and say, okay, we're gonna pass this. It may not be everything we like, but it's going to be a Republican bill. Then you get nothing. And right now, it's looking like we're going to get nothing.
Well, and I want to make clear, and I'm not here to defend Kevin McCarthy, but it's my understanding, my memory, Scott, and you tell me if you remember it wrong, differently, was that if John Boehner or Paul Ryan was dealing with this, they would run over to Nancy Pelosi and get votes from the Democrats and make concessions with them. Am I not right?
Well, that's happened. Yeah, that's happened every time except the two shutdowns we did. The first one was with Boehner over Obamacare in 2013, and the second one was with Paul Ryan, I believe. And gosh, I can't even remember what that was.
But the point is that to his credit, and some of the hardliners don't want to. McCarthy's not doing that. He's
trying. He's trying to make it happen. He has been bending over backwards to try to bring everybody together. We had closed door meetings last week that was very personal, very family discussion type closed door meetings where everybody got up, bared their soul, which Boehner and Paul Ryan wouldn't make people do. It's like, come to the mic and tell everybody where you stand. And in a way, you'd think it'd bring us closer, and I thought it did, and I thought we had a chance to pass the DOD that second time, but yet two other people peeled off and voted against it. So I would say I'm not defending Kevin either, but I would say he is trying harder than Boehner or Ryan. He's trying to make things happen, and I guess when people talk about vacating the chair, Matt Gaetz and others who say, well, we're going to bring McCarthy down, the problem is there's no exit strategy with that. They tried to do it on January 3rd, voted against him 15 times. There was no one else that could even get 20 votes. And so if they vacate the chair, then we look more dysfunctional than we do already because there's no one Steve Scalise could do what Kevin McCarthy's doing, but he still wouldn't satisfy the 5 to 10 people in our conference right now that expect nothing less.
Well, because they don't want, and I understand the hard line that they're taking. I understand the point that they're making is we have to get our spending in order. We have to do something about it. And I appreciate, that's the frustrating thing about this. And I think you're right there with me, Scott, that I appreciate the point that they're making, but I don't understand the end game that they expect because there are too many moderate, squishy Republicans on the other end that you would lose if you boot McCarthy and expect to get some. Who else do you get in there?
Right. That's what I say. I've been probably one of those stubborn, hard-nosed people on CRs and spending because we need to be. We see our country going bankrupt. But you don't have to compromise your principles to change your strategy. And that's why I'm willing to vote for a CR because I think the border is a winning issue and we need to unite and we need to take what messaging win we can get. Whether or not it resolves anything, we're going to heighten the awareness of this problem. And that's what we need to do. So I mentioned that the folks, the holdouts have been what happened in the past. Look inside yourself, look at the current picture. We have a 4-seat majority, and all we can really do is message because we don't have the White House, we don't have the Senate. So let's have a winning. And then when we go into 2024, people can say, do we want the Democratic message?
Scott DesJarlais either proving that he's in the middle of Tennessee in the 4th District, in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, or that he's artificial intelligence. One of the two. Sorry, your phone was breaking up there for a second, Scott. So we missed part of what you said. Let me ask you this. Are we currently under regular order?
We are currently under regular order, but it can vary in a hurry based on rules. Because
what I've been told is that part of what has quagged the process, part of it is, we don't look at a calendar, and once again, many will suggest that I'm defending McCarthy here. I'm just observing part of what is quagging this up is that as we are under regular order, members such as yourself have the opportunity to offer amendments on the floor, and you have 12 appropriation bills, but the count that I heard earlier this morning was you have over 400 amendments on those that all have to be debated.
That's correct.
So that's going to slow the process down. And there's seems to be all finger pointing going from the hardliners toward McCarthy, and no one's asking the hardliners the question, what responsibility do you have in this in slowing the process down to the point that we can't get it done?
Yeah, and I think you're right. You have to have, again, that situational awareness of what is possible. And right now there's people asking for the impossible. we have to take the win that is in front of us, and that's a messaging win on the border. And so it may be too late to see that goal achieved, but we still got a week to fight, and we'll see what happens.
Are you guys up there next weekend? Throughout the weekend, do you think?
I'm guessing we'll be there through the weekend. So, I mean, we obviously need to stay until we get it done. So, unless there's some kind of breakthrough, there's a chance that there'll be a procedural vote with the Democrats to pass clean CR. And if that happens, then we lost an opportunity because of infighting, and that's not a good look.
And final thought on the concept of everything breaking down. Was it a tactical mistake for the speaker to recess and allow members to go home during August?
Yeah, well, August has been a traditional recess for as long as I know, but yes, it probably was. It wasn't just August. We were really out for almost 6 weeks, and I think that there was some lost opportunity.
Representative Scott DesJarlais, always good to catch up with you. Thank you for being with us, and we'll talk again very soon. Take care.